Hey guys, what's up? This will be MVC part 4, and this is kind of a structural tutorial where you're learning more so how it works and a way to go about it rather than a all-in-one start to finish system to make it perfect. So keep that in mind. I've been busy at the old grinding stone, so sorry for my lack of tutorials. To start today, I'm going to show you how to include JavaScript files for each individual section. So index, help, and dashboard also. I'm going to start at the dashboard. Whoops. Let me log in real quick. And in the dashboard. So first thing we're going to do is open the dashboard controller. And what I'm going to do is set a JavaScript variable to the view. So this view JS equals array. Okay. And I'll save that. And then I'm going to open my header file in the view, which is down here under views. And up here, I'm going to do a little PHP command and say if is set this JS. Then we're going to loop through the JavaScript. And this, remember, is we're inside the view now from the controller. It doesn't have the word view in it. So I'll say echo 1. Just to make sure it knows it's being set. Refresh, and we have a 1 up there. Looks good. And what we want to do is include all the JavaScript files we tell it to in the controller. Whoopsie daisies. Okay, so I'll start with my double quotes, paste this in there, and what I can do is get rid of some of this stuff. I want that URL constant in there, and I guess I'll get rid of all this, and I'll do $JS here, dot. Okay. And what I'm going to do is a loop. So I'll say for each this JS as JS. Whoops. There we go. And let's add a JavaScript file. Now you'll notice down in my views I already added a folder called JS and a file called default.js. So in my array I could put default slash JS, or sorry, that would be dashboard slash JS slash default.js. And over here, I actually have to change the URL to views. Okay, go ahead and refresh, and cool, we get an alert 1. If you don't get an alert 1, don't worry. This is all I put in my default JavaScript file. The reason I did this is because now we can have independent JavaScript files that only apply to each controller. So you could have a lot of them for the dashboard, and that's a lot better rather than having them all in like this custom.js file, because this could get large. So now it's dedicated to only this area. Cool. So now that we have some custom JavaScript, I'm actually going to do an AJAX call. And this might get a bit confusing, so I'll try to go slow. What I want to do is, it's not really going to be very useful, but I'm going to create a little form here to insert some data in the database, and this will give you an idea if you wanted to do some AJAX stuff. So I can go ahead and close the header file, and where should I start? I'll start in the index.php file, which is the dashboard view. And I'm going to create a form, and I'll just say input type equals text, name equals text, I guess, and I guess we'll do an input, control shift down, input type submit, save, and we want to give this an action, and I'll say echo the URL of dashboard slash, and this is where naming conventions could get tricky. It depends how you want to do it. If you want to say like AJAX before everything, so you know that it's an AJAX thing. I'm just gonna go with whatever I can think of right now, and I'll say function xhr insert. The reason I'm calling it XHR is for XML HTTP request rather than AJAX they're kind of the same thing, but you know, you can do asynchronous calls on other servers. So I'll call this XHR. What was that? Insert. Okay. And the method will be post. Okay. So let me refresh that. We got our form there. Good. And time to get our hands dirty with a little bit of jQuery. I'm going to give this form an ID, and I'll say ID equals random insert. Okay. So here I'm going to do a random insert dot submit function, and I'm going to return false because I want the form to be handled through JavaScript and not refresh the page. And then I'm going to say this dot serialize, var data equals this serialized, and let's console log of data. If you don't follow what I'm doing, I got a ton of tutorials on jQuery. I'm basically going to serialize the form so that it's a lot easier to post. So I'll open up Firebug, light, refresh, and I'll type test, submit, and you see how we get post variables here. If we had it any differently, it'd look a little different. Yeah, you get it. And what we're going to do is an Ajax post. So $post, and the place we want to post is actually the action, and that would be this dot attr for attribute and action, because we already set that. So we can just use whatever this is. And I'll call this URL. So I'm going to post a URL, I'm going to post the data, and I'm going to have a callback function. I'll call that O. And what I'm going to do is just alert 1 for now to see if that does anything. Refresh, submit, good. And you can see we posted to the server on this page, and it went all down to render the views, which is not what we wanted. So back to the dashboard. In this XHR insert command, let's see what we have going on. Okay. What I'm going to do is call a model. And do I have that set in here? This model XHR insert. Okay. And I guess I'll make a new model. And I'll call this dashboard model, and I can copy all this junk over just from a random model file. I'll say dashboard model, and we had one called XHR insert. Sorry about my uneven marks here. Actually, I'm not even using that right now. And I'm going to post text, and I'm going to echo that out. Okay, let me go back to the controller, and this should call it. I don't know if we have model set. I can't exactly remember how this system was wired. Might not have that. Okay, there it is, VV. Cool. And with that, we're going to insert into the database. So let me go to PHP MyAdmin, MVC, and I'm just going to call this I'm going to create a new table called data with 2 fields. And the first one, we'll just call it ID, and this one text. I'll just make this 11 long. This one will be var character 55. Auto increment it, primary key. You've probably done this 100 times. And go. Whoops, save. Okay. And we're going to insert into the data field from the model. And I don't remember off the top of my head how the model was set up, sorry. So let me take a peek at my libs folder. So I have database available, so I can use this DB. So I could say this DB. And let's see, is this extending PDO? Let's take a peek. We're just using straight up PDO, it looks like. So let's do that. And we're going to do a prepared statement, this db prepare of insert into data. We're only going to set the text values, text. Okay. And we need to set that text value. Okay. I'm a little rusty on this because I have abstracted PDO in the past quite a bit. So I'll say this db execute, and we're basically just saying what are we going to replace text with in that field. We use an array, and I'll say text is there. Text is going to be whatever they typed in. Text, whoops, $sign. Okay, I'll save that, and this is just a test run, so let's see what we get. Undefined property dashboard model db. Oops, we need to do a parent construct in here. Why? Because in the model, you see we have this available. We want to construct the base model so that we have database available. So parent construct. Let's try again. I can just repost it because it's PHP. Fatal error. Call to undefined method execute. Oh, this is so embarrassing. This has to be a statement. So I'll say statement handler equals that prepared, and in the statement handler we execute it. So let's try that. Submit. Scroll down and post it. Looks like it went good. So let's check the database. Data, and there it is in there. Now obviously you're going to want to sanitize this text. I might get into that in another tutorial. I might not, I don't know. But this is just a quick, easy way to do AJAX calls. Well, it might not look so easy just yet. What we're going to do is make it so that whatever we insert, it's going to be immediately posted down here, and it's going to be, it's going to list automatically. So what I'm going to do is a get when it loads, and I'm going to call these list inserts. That's going to be the DOM element where my inserts are listed. So div ID equals list inserts. I know these are generic and they don't really mean anything, but hey, what else can we do? I can't think of what I should make. List inserts, and we're going to do a get call. So get, and I want to get it from oh boy, the URL of our site. Let's just start with dashboard, and I guess this will be xhr get. I'll call that xhr get listings. I know these names are kind of confusing looking, but the only reason I put xhr in front of it is so that you know it's different than just like a standard method. So in dashboard, I'll do a function called xhr get. Oh, sorry, I forgot what it was called. Get listings. That's so embarrassing. So I'll say this model. Boom, boom. Kind of the same idea, and we're going to let our model do all the dirty work. And we're going to do this db. I think it was query. Select all from data, and this db fetch all, and we're going to return that. Okay, and with our get, we're going to do a function. I'm going to pop a little comma after here because I like it in JSON format. Okay, I can get rid of this and pop it up here. We'll use that in a minute. So let me refresh and make sure it's not all broken. Call the undefined method db fetch all. Again, I'm rusty with PDO again. We need to do a statement So this DB, I guess I'll just do a prepare, and I'll do return statement fetch all. Hope that works. Don't know if it will or it won't. That didn't get us anything, so select all from data. Well, half the problem is I need to echo this out because we're doing it a little different. So there, and we have an array. Great. What we need to do is return this in JSON format. Remember how in the JavaScript we said JSON, JavaScript object notation? So what I'm going to do is JSON encode this. This is a built-in PHP function, and I'll say echo JSON encode data, and I can refresh this. Let's see if we get anything, and it's empty, but it's JSON data. So I wonder why that is empty. I would really like to know that. Maybe it's just execute. Let me just try something. Refresh. Okay, I guess I have to call execute beforehand. Weird. So now we have our JSON encoded data, and I'll go back to my default here, and let me see how it looks. This is our data, so I'll copy that, I'll paste it up here so I can look at it, and we have one object right here, ID 1. I don't know what 01 means. That's weird. Oh, I see. Our fetch mode is fetching IDs and associative arrays. Okay. I need to set my PDO fetch mode. So I'll do STH set fetch mode PDO and fetch. There it is, associative. Because that's all I want. That should do the trick. Refresh, and there we go. Now we only have the associative array values. So I can paste that, and what I'm going to do is insert one more thing in the database so I can see what it actually looks like easier. So let me just well, I'll just use this form. Okay, refresh, and here's what I have: an array of objects. Okay, so the square brackets are array, and the squigglies are the objects. So what I will do is I'll say O, let's see what O gives us. It should give us JSON format. Refresh. Okay, good. So O.id would work. So let me do O0.id. I think that's right. So we get 1. How about text? Okay. Remember, it's an array of objects. So I'm going to do a loop and say for var I equals 0, I is less than O.length, I plus plus. Simple for loop. And we're going to append inside of this HTML list. So say dot append of O.text, and I can get rid of this. So I'll go ahead and refresh that, and there it goes. It got called. Looks like my JavaScript's a little broke. List inserts. Let me do an alert. Make sure this is working. Refresh. Okay, it's getting called. It goes twice, which I'm not sure why. Okay, there it is. I'm having a problem. Let me just try HTML. Refresh. Doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. Sorry, I forgot the array number. There. Refresh. Oh, okay, and we can do an append instead. So this should be the good looking code right here. And I'll go ahead and refresh that. Okay, looks good. I'm going to wrap these in divs so that they're in their own spots. So div plus, whoops, and plus is just the I don't know how to say this word, concatenation. It's like concatenate. It's kind of like that. Basically like the period in PHP, it kind of does the same thing. That looks all good, so I'll go ahead and refresh that. Okay, beautiful. And what we want to do is when we type this in, submit, it'll actually go in the list. So let me refresh. You see how it's there. So what we'll do is we'll say list inserts dot append, and what we're going to append will be first of all a div. Let me do plus plus and end the div, and what goes in here is what matters. So what I shall do is look at what this post is returning. So let's do a post, submit, good, and we're getting nothing back in the response, so I'm going to make a little response in the dashboard model. So what I'll do is just echo JSON encode of text. Let's try again, submit, boom, boom, response, and we get the letter F. Cool. So with that we can use O. Oops, O. I just like to console log it, make sure it's working. Boom, boom. Oops, I got to refresh because that was JavaScript. And we get FFF, great. So now we can just put in O. Okay, get rid of this alert. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh and slide this down a little. Hey, there's hey. Looks like it has some quotes around it. I'm not going to care about that right now. I want to get a couple things done. And what we're going to do is put a href, goes to nowhere. And this is going to be a way to delete them. Boom, boom, copy that up there. And these are going to need probably like IDs based on the thingy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, here's the X's, and when we click those, they're going to do something. And I'm going to give those a class name and say class equals del, just short for delete. And we're going to make a thing called of .del .click function. And first of all, we return false at the end so that it doesn't go to the link. And we're going to call a function to delete this stuff. And what I'm going to do is set a rel tag in the HTML. And inside the rel tag, I'm going to have an ID. So boom, boom, o.id, o.text. Now this isn't set yet, so hang tight. Back in the dashboard model, we're going to do data equals array, and text will be text, and ID will be I think this is what this DB last insert ID. Save that, and I'm going to test this out. Submit. We get AAA. This was with the insert. Oh, we got to output data. Save. Refresh. AAA. Post. And we get cool, beautiful. And let's see, what do we got here? Undefined at the moment. Text is AAA and ID. Let me console log this real quick to see what we are. Console.log O, and I'll refresh that again, and I got text and ID. So O.text and O.id should be working. Alert O.text. I'm gonna refresh that once more. Boom. Undefined. Say what? I'm echoed. Oh, post. Oh, this isn't in JSON friendly format. So just like the other thing, we're gonna do comma JSON. Let me refresh. Try it again. There it is. Boom. I'm so happy about that. Okay, and we need a rel thingy up here equals OI.ID. And when we get the listings, that should be populated. So I'll refresh. I wonder why it doesn't load all the time there. Let me inspect this X. Rel equals 1, 7. You see down here we have exactly what we want. And what we're going to do is when they click delete, we are going to pass the event here and say e.target, or sorry, I'll just use this in this instance. I'll say this dot attribute of rel. So that's going to be our ID. And let's say alert ID. Let me refresh this. Ooh, that didn't work. Del click function. You know why? I wonder. Class is del click. Wonder why it's not doing anything. Del.click. Here's the reason. Sorry, I've been in prototype so much I get a little rusty, but the reason is that when we get this data, this is being observed before the data is even on the page. So what I'm going to do is pop this inside of this get function. Okay. So let me get rid of that a little bit, and I think that should work. Refresh, click, there's the ID, there's the ID, and what we're going to do with that is make it so that it deletes the ID, and we're going to do a post. So you can go ahead and copy your previous post call. Okay, boom. And the URL I'm going to post to, I'm just going to do this the short way and say dashboard xhr delete listing. So let me create a function in here. Am I missing a bracket? Oh, there. Function, boom, 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 and STH equals this DB prepare delete from data where ID equals whoops. ID. There, got my things right. And I'll just do a regular post of what was that called? Oh, I didn't give it a value yet. I'll just call it ID. So we're going to post the ID, pass it in there, and we should all be happy. So ID, and when I post, this should be a JSON object. I'll say ID equals ID. Now you can imagine there's going to be a conflict with these two words, so for the key I will quote it up, and let me comment that out a sec, and I'm just going to do an alert 1. Oh, we have to tie this together with a controller method. So this model, boom, 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 and make sure this is saved. Refresh, click, alert 1. Let's see. Okay, the post was good, and what we're going to want to do is, let me refresh, make sure that was deleted. Refresh. It doesn't look like it's getting deleted just yet. However, there should be an error if it weren't. Oh, look, all the IDs say 1. That could be a problem. I wonder why that says that. No, the rel is numbered. This dot rel. Where's that delete thingy? This dot attribute rel. Let me alert the ID. Refresh. So that should be 3, right? Then it says 1. 2 and 1. 5 and 1. Boy, it's getting twicky. Oh, that's why this alert here. That is so embarrassing. Ugh. Alright, we're almost done. This video is getting really long. We're going a little JavaScript crazy here. Let me see where I am. So these are inserted in their own divs. So when we delete a class, or sorry, delete based on the ID, we're just going to remove that div. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I actually have to assign a variable. I'll say del item equals this, so that we can have it inside of here. So I'll say del item dot parent dot remove. Okay, refresh, boom, boom, and it removes, boom, boom, removes, and refresh. It's not actually deleting from the database. I'm not exactly certain just yet, but I'll get to the bottom of that. So this all works good. Let me make sure the numbers are going right. Post of 6, post of 5, good. You see how our IDs are all different? 5, 4, good. And all we need to do now is delete listing, shtdb prepare. We did not execute. Sth execute. And refresh, delete, boom. Okay. So all these ASDFs should be gone. Good. So it works. Now here's something interesting you might see. I say test. Okay. It says test down here. I try to delete it, and I can't click this. Say why? The reason is we need to do something called live, and this is in jQuery, which is really cool. So when we do an insert, what we're going to do is change this to live and submit, and that applies the observe handlers to it while we create it. The problem is submit. The problem is that it doesn't want to listen. That's the problem. Basically what's happening is it's not being observed. Random insert live submit. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video. The problem is we need to apply live to the click right here on the delete item. So I'll just say live dot click like that. So I'll go ahead and refresh. I'll say test, delete test, good. Get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that alert also. Alert. Now this JavaScript's a little sloppy, I know, but it'll help you get good groundwork. I know the model doesn't have a verification and it's not the most secure, but again, it's just a boot, kind of like a ground working for you. And I know these names are not the most attractive things you've ever seen, but I hope it helps you get started with some JavaScript. I might clean this up at some point in the future. I'll put this up on the dream.com/lab/open source, and have fun, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.